So remember I said the rules for those who are still connected are different than the rules for those who are not connected. So the rules for those who are not connected is you have a right to a payment plan, but there's no minimum 4 months. There's no numerical rule whatsoever. Except for your clients who are on fuel assistance, there is a contract between the local fuel assistance agency. So here, there's a contract that ABCD signs with all the utility companies that get fuel assistance payments. And one thing that contract says is in exchange for all the fuel assistance payments we're going to make to your utility company, you agree to restore, terminate people for 25%. So it's the same scheme, which is you've got to restore people if they can come up with that 25%. And then you get a payment plan. So it's important to understand your fuel assistance clients, even if they're terminated, can get restored. Now, remember what I said, what if your income is less than your expenses? The fuel assistance situation, again, helps because you're driven to step 3 looking for money. The maximum fuel assistance benefit this year, oh God, I forgot, it's around $12.95. And if anyone knows the exact number, there's no fuel assistance people in the room. So let's just say around $1,300. I'm good at math, so I will tell you. You'd have to have an arrearage bigger than $5,200 for that $1,300 of fuel assistance not to be enough to restore service. If your arrearage is $5,200, 25% of that is $1,300. Fuel assistance clients gets their service restored because they can make the 25% payment. It's under the contract. They have to do it. It's a contract between ABCD and the local utility companies. People follow this. Sometimes I do this too fast. Okay? Any questions on that? So payment plans, the role is to do the homework on the budget side, to be assertive and go to the consumer division where possible, yeah? So the basic rules of arrearage management are you have to be on the low income discount rate so the company knows you're low income. If your client isn't low income, they'll basically say, we'll enroll you on the discount rate, and that makes you eligible for the arrearage management program. So again, everybody you're dealing with is below 60% of median, I am assuming, right? Most of you are dealing with folks below 60% of median, probably way below 60% of median. So they could get on the discount rate even if they weren't already on it. So that's no hurdle at all. But you have to have a certain arrearage, because they're not going to go through this complicated 12-month program if you owe them $143. They're just going to say, you know what, catch up somehow. For most companies, it's at least $300 behind. For some on the electric, because electric bills are smaller, I think some of the electric you could be as little as $100 behind. And you have to be 60 days behind for most companies. Because if you remember the termination thing, you can't even be terminated until you're 48 days behind. So it's people who are behind some significant number of days and a non-trivial amount of money. It varies by company, but generally, if your client owes more than $300. And by the way, if your clients owe less than $300, they're probably not even seeing termination notices yet.
How many days is that?
It varies from company to company. Usually, I think most companies, it's 60 days. But for your clients who owe less than $300 or are less than 60 days behind, they probably have barely seen a lot of collection activity yet. Okay, so almost all of your clients who are behind are going to be eligible. One other thing you need to know, and actually this is something we covered at this meeting yesterday, companies are taking different approaches to how they administer it. So NGRID, for example, has set aside dedicated customer service reps who will do this. At other companies, any customer service rep can do it. But I asked yesterday, I hope this is true, whichever model the company is following, if you call the regular customer service number, either that person can do it because every employee has been trained how to do it, or they'll punch you over to the specialists who are doing it. So you can call the company and say, I want to speak to you about the arrearage management program. Again, at the middle manager level, everything I heard in the room was companies are trying really, really hard to enroll people. Trying really, really hard to enroll people. NSTAR had a press release, which came to me. I told NSTAR, I said, that press release was sent to me by 5 different advocates. They really are. NSTAR has increased the number of people on their AMPs 4-fold just in the last few months. It was like at 750, and now it's over 3,000. And the companies are eager to get people on. I mean, the challenge, well, there's one other thing that you should know. So in this scenario, I jumped over budget plans, which is kind of sandwiched on the slides between payment plans. Remember, a budget plan is just a way to look at the next 12 months, estimate what the company thinks is going to be, divide by 12. So on the AMP, you are on a budget plan. They are estimating your next 12 months of bills. They're not asking you to pay on the arrears. They're dividing by 12, okay? But another thing they do is, let's say they estimate your bills are going to be actually quite high. Let's say $2,800 in the next 12 months. They subtract the known fuel assistance. So if it's at a time of year where they actually know what you're going to get in fuel assistance, and again, I'm going to round up, $1,300. So they're going to say, you know what, we're going to divide 1,500 by 12 because we know we're getting 1,300 from fuel assistance. Even though we estimate very high bills in the next year, $2,800, if you just take 1,500 divided by 12, which is about $120, that's all you have to pay us every month. You owe us $1,200. We think you're going to use $2,800 in the next year. That's a total of $4,000. All you have to do is pay us $120 a month. Now, for a lot of our clients, $120 a month is too much still. But for clients who are kind of working poor and have some money, this is a great way to get out of the hole of being in debt to the utility company. It also means, that in the month where your winter bill, your actual winter bill could be $600 in the cold month. If you pay $120 that month, you're not going to get shut off. So I'm not sure I need to say more about budget plans. I hope along the way you picked up enough what a budget plan is. You do need to know about budget plans. Companies only offer them at certain times of the year. So they're not going to offer it to you in the winter because your winter bill, again, could be $600, where the budget amount might be $200 levelized. They're going to offer it to you in the summer and the early fall. So when they're asking you to pay $200 a month, the company's not falling very far behind where it should be. And of course, these are based on estimates of your next 12 months of usage. So they could be off in either direction. If they estimated low, at some point they're going to send you a catch-up bill. If they estimated high, at some point they're going to put a credit on your bill. The gas companies, I think, tend to look at these every 3 months because gas bills are big, and therefore the error could be big. The electric companies probably look at it every 6 months, so there are corrections along the way. Budget plans, I will say, are really, really good for our working poor clients. Our working poor client, if you live in an apartment, so I use $2,800, that's actually high. Gas bills for someone who lives in an apartment are about $1,500 a year. A working poor person can afford $100 a month for the gas bill, but when it gets to be $600 in the winter, what happens? They stop paying because it's so scary. Why am I going to pay $100 on a $600 bill? They're going to come and shut me off. Going back to my car example, yeah, the car they would take, if you actually paid the $100, at the end of the winter, they'd work out a payment plan, but you're better off putting on the budget plan to begin with. So I would encourage you to work, I can't pick a magic number out of the air, but not the people who are living on TFDC and food stamps or have a small Social Security check. The people who are, in the $8, $10 an hour jobs who actually have some income, get them on the budget plan in the summer and fall. You won't have the crisis at the end of the winter because they wouldn't have flipped out about the size of their big winter bills and stopped paying. Really good program. Arrearage management, I think I covered. Payment plans. So these are kind of three somewhat related ways to get the bills down. The nice thing about arrearage management is it really is making some of the bill just go away completely. Budget plan, it's just levelizing it. You owe the same amount, you owe 100% of the bill. Payment plans, you owe all of it, it's just you spread it over time. Any questions on any of those?